So hey friends, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Clay Allen, and if you're new, welcome to my channel, and I hope that you stay with me. But today we're going to be doing another sit down kind of story time, and we're going to be talking about 2x2. So 2x2 is a daycare that I got the fortunate opportunity to work at, and it most recently closed down. So I'm going to be talking about my experience and what I've learned overall working at the daycare. So one of my friends that I met through CCF, I call her my friend, but really she's like family to me. And she was my campus minister's friend. I met her at the kickoff party that CCF held, and she was telling me a little about herself, as well as like being she used to be an education major and stuff like that. She contacted me about a job and wanting to know if I wanted to work for 2x2 daycare. So 2x2 was located inside of a church, Franklin Heights, and downstairs is a basement area where all the festivities go on, like where the childcare happens is downstairs in the basement. And she contacted me and said that she thought that I would be perfect for the job. And so I got an application and I came in to fill out the application, and then I was just waiting around to hear back from Laura. So September 13th of 2021 I was going to start. But then I ended up getting contact traced with my roommate who had COVID. So then I was in quarantine. But then I ended up catching COVID. So then I was in quarantine longer than I was supposed to be in. So I didn't start working until September 27th of 2021. But once I started working there, that was when my life changed for the better. The only job I've ever had is working in the dining center at my college, and I was doing dishes, and I hated my entire life. And I'm going to school to be a teacher, and so I wanted an opportunity to be able to work with kids because that's what I'm going to be doing for the rest of my life. So I'm very excited that I was able to have the opportunity to work at 2x2. And, you know, there's like ups and downs of every single place you've been to, or every single place that you've worked at. There's going to be ups and downs. And there was definitely ups and downs working at 2x2. There was a funny thing that happened to me and my roommate Jasmine. We were working in the ones room one time, and there was a giant shelf, like it was a giant blue shelf. I'll show a picture. And I had just gotten all the kids down for nap, and I was getting ready to take a break, and I set something on top of the blue shelf. It was like a box or something. I set it on top of there, and I noticed that the shelf was starting to come out of the wall. And I was like, okay, this is probably not good. And then all of a sudden, bam, the shelf fell. And it was by the grace of God that me and Jasmine did not get hit in the head with that shelf, because the shelf came literally this close to specifically my head, because the shelf came this way and I was literally right here. So it could have like fell and smacked me in the head, but it didn't. It came like straight down. And so it made this whole loud noise. It woke up all of our kids. All of our kids started crying and stuff. And I'm like flustered at this point because everything is literally everywhere and all the kids are crying. And so of course we have to like get them settled down and stuff. And so I take one of my friend's daughters, and I'm just holding her, and I'm like texting in the group chat like, hey, the shelf just completely came out of the wall. I sent a picture. And everyone's like, oh my gosh, are you guys okay? Like, I heard it and stuff like that. And so I started hyperventilating, and I started crying because like just like everything that was going on and how it was so close to falling on top of my head. And then like what if it would have fell down when the kids were around. So like luckily the kids were in the other, because how the room was is that one side was like the play side where we had all of our toys and stuff, and then on the other side was our nap room. So we had like all the cots and the cribs and stuff. And so my friend comes and takes her daughter from me, and I'm like, I need to go upstairs. And so I go upstairs, and I go outside, and I sit in the grass, and I'm just bawling. And one of the owners of the churches contacted me, and he was like, I'm so sorry that happened to you, and stuff like that. And so I just think it's a funny memory, just because yeah, I've never had that happen to me before, and I'm very thankful that none of the kids were hurt, and Jasmine and I weren't hurt. But yeah, and then another downside would have to be the drama behind the daycare. You're not going to get along with everyone you work with, and I think that it sucks to an extent because we're a Christian daycare and we're supposed to uphold some sort of Christian values or standards. But a lot of people did not inside of the daycare, and a lot of people just butted heads with each other and talked crap about each other behind people's backs. For a long period of time, I wanted to quit. But when it came to some people who were the drama starters and everything, I was like, man, like, I really don't want to be involved in this. But then I had to realize that it was for the kids. Like, I wasn't coming to work every day for my coworkers. I was coming to work every day for those kids. And so I ended up staying. But like in every single job, you're going to have drama, and you're going to have people who don't get along with each other. But the thing of the matter is that you have to come together for the kids, because those kids see everything that's happening. And if we as like coworkers don't get along, those kids are going to notice, and we should be a family. So that's my little rant about drama and stuff. The next thing we're going to be talking about is working in the ones room. So I have like always loved kids, and I've always loved just working with little ones. And so when I first arrived, they put me in what's called the transition room. So the transition room is that epitomal age where the kids are transferring from the infant room into our room before they go into the toddler room. So generally they switch the kids to the toddler room when they're 2. So we get the transition room kids before we transition them into the toddler room. So basically we have 1-year-olds, and sometimes we transition the kids out of the infant room right before they turn 1, just so that they can start getting used to it. And there's like different protocols that happen when you get into the ones room compared to the infant room. Like in the infant room, they take however many naps they want, whereas in the ones room, we only take 1 nap a day, and that's after lunch. And the kids stop drinking bottles usually, and we give them sippy cups, and they eat at the table with the rest of the kids. And we transition some kids to cots instead of cribs so that they can get ready for the toddler room, and just stuff like that. Everyone knew that was where I belonged, was working in the ones room. There was a long time where I was considered a floater, so I would be wherever they needed me. So if one day one of my coworkers was gone, I would fill in for that room. And so I was everywhere. I've been in the pre-K room, I've been in the ones room, I've been in the toddler room, and I was in the threes room for a long time before they stopped the threes room and combined the threes with the pre-K kids. And I had one opportunity to work in the infant room, but the ones room, everyone knew that I was good at. Like, those were my babies, and I am very thankful I got the opportunity to work in there, because it was so amazing to see these kids grow and hit milestones that they'd never hit before, and watching them learn how to walk, watching them learn how to talk. go from seeing them drinking out of bottles into sippy cups and just watching them play with other kids and stuff. It was a very amazing opportunity to get to work in there. And I couldn't be more thankful for all the kids that I got to meet and work with every single day. I started off with, so they all come in bunches. Like, there's a certain amount of kids that go from the infant room to the ones room to the toddler room. And so we got, when I first came in here, I got all the kids that were in the infant room together. And so I got to work with all of them, and then they all moved on to the toddler room, and I got the next bunch of kids from the infant room, and those are the kids that I ended up with until the end. And so you just saw how little they were until now most of them are 2 years old, and they would have been moving on to the toddler room if we would have stayed open. And I just, it just makes my teacher heart so happy to see just those kids and how much they grew up. Next, we are going to be talking about the people that I met along the way. So I'm going to be talking about some of my amazing coworkers. The first person that I'm going to be talking about is Lindy. So Lindy just started working here. I think she came in August and of just this past year. And Lindy has become one of my best friends. And it makes me want to cry because Lindy and I got really close. There was a little moment in time where we didn't really talk to each other. I mean, we worked with each other because she got put in my room, and I had to go down to only working 1 day a week because of school, and I just thought that it would be better for me to just only work 1 day a week, which it sucked because I missed my babies, but I knew that the transition room needed consistency, and so I'm very glad that Lindy was there to fulfill that role of being consistent in that room. But I stayed in Vincent's over the summer, and so I got to work over the summer, and I don't have a car license, and so I didn't know how I was going to get to work. And so Lindy and her mom, Tiffany, took me to work every single day, and Lindy and I just became so close. There was a time where we went to Zip and Sip and just sat and talked in the car for an hour and just telling each other about our personal lives and our trauma and stuff like that. And then every time I came into work, she always made me laugh, and I was able to tell her things that is hard for me to open up to sometimes. And then we were able to vent to each other and just be there for one another as the daycare closed down and we were spending our last 4 weeks with the kids. I just couldn't be more thankful for Lindy. She was honestly one of my hardest see you laters, I guess. I was kind of avoiding hugging her and seeing her because as soon as I did, I just started bawling just because I'm so thankful for her, and she knows how much I'm thankful for her. And she was one of the best teachers in that one's room. Every single day, those kids were so attached. Literally, there was one 1-year-old or 2-year-old who was so attached that every time she would leave the room, he would cry, or just stuff like that. He was really attached to her, and all the kids loved Lindy. And I'm just so glad that the kids bonded to Lindy as much as they did to other people that were in that room. And so Lindy, if you're seeing this, I love you so much, and I am very thankful for you and everything that you've done for me, and I just want to stay friends with you, and I don't ever want to lose you because you've became a sister to me. The next person we're going to talk about is Jennifer. So I met Jennifer when I first started working. Jennifer kind of took me under her wing and told me the ins and outs of the daycare. She had an amazing daughter who I got the opportunity to work with, who was attached to my hip. Jennifer's daughter was my little best friend. Everyone knew that her daughter was attached to my hip. And Jennifer became one of my best friends at that job. I knew that I could come in, and she also was one that knew when everything was, if something was wrong with me. There's like one point where there was like some drama going on, and I just walked out and stopped talking, and she was like, "What's wrong with you, Kalia?" And I was like, "What? Nothing's wrong." And she was like, "Come on, I know you. Something's wrong." And she just, yeah, she always knew a way of how to make me smile, and she was always there for me. And I'm very thankful she opened her daughter's life to me with open arms, and I'm thankful for the fact that she took me under her wing and showed me the ins and outs of the job, because there's a lot of things I felt like I did wrong, but she was always there to correct me, to be like, "This is what you need to do. You should have done this instead." We have to use this app called Brightwheel, and Brightwheel was a little confusing at first, and so she helped me learn how to use Brightwheel and everything, and what to do and what not to do, like how you shouldn't put another child's name on an incident report and stuff like that. And so yeah, so I couldn't be more thankful for the fact that I got to meet Jennifer. Jennifer left the job earlier than anyone else, and so we didn't get, she wasn't there until the end, but like I said a million times, I'm very thankful that I got to meet her. So yeah, that's Jennifer. The next person we're going to be talking about is Barb. So Barb was literally the first person I worked with. As soon as I walked into the ones room, Barb was in there. And normally it wouldn't have been Barb, it would have been someone else, but Barb was in there covering for someone. And so I got to meet Barb. And most recently, Barb and Lindy have been the two people that I've talked to and been close to, because Barb and Lindy were there till the end. I'm sorry, my thoughts are kind of everywhere. But Barb was someone that I could always talk to, and that I knew wasn't going to talk crap about me behind my back. And I could tell her things that were going on, and she would understand, and she'd also agree with me and everything like that. And Barb is another one that was so good with the kids. She worked in the 2-year-old room, and those kids loved her. And she was just an amazing teacher, and I don't think the kids were ever going to forget about Barb, and I'm never going to forget about Barb, because, I'm very thankful for our friendship and how far we've come. And, I've been working there for a year and 8 months, and I'm just thankful for the opportunity to get to work with Barb. And the last person we're going to be talking about is Laura. So, like I said, Laura was my boss and also a friend who's became family to me now. But I'm so thankful that Laura told me about the job, and that I got the opportunity to work with her, as well as work with her 2 amazing children. I didn't get to see her youngest daughter be born, obviously, but I got to work with her once I was in the transition room. And just looking at her daughters from the time that I met them until now, they have grown so much. And I've always told Laura that I would do anything for her daughters, and that I always treated her kids like my own, and that she could know that her kids were safe when I was watching them. And so I couldn't be more thankful for Laura, and just the conversations we've had, and just always knowing that she's someone that I can talk to if I ever needed something. So yeah, I'm very thankful for Laura and the opportunity to work with her and her daughters. Next, we're going to be talking about the kids. So the kids have been amazing. The kids were the reason why I got out of bed on days that were hard. The kids were the reason why I came to work when my grandma died, and how I looked at them and smiled and laughed when all I wanted to do was cry. The kids were the reason why I decided to become a teacher and decided to stay in my education, because I knew that they needed me. Those kids needed me to be strong. Those kids needed me to be there for them and to treat them like my own kids. I'm just so thankful for the opportunity that I've had to work with every single child, and also all of the parents that I've gotten to meet have been amazing. There are two parents in particular who I am so thankful for, because if they're watching this video, they know who they are. But I'm so thankful for the opportunity that I've had to talk to them, because they have made me feel like a somebody. They were always so kind to me and so inviting, and they welcomed me into their kids' lives with open arms, and they always asked me how I was doing and how college was doing, and how they said that they missed me since that I only work 1 day a week. And they were just so amazing. And not just them two, but like every parent that I've had the interaction with have been amazing to me, and they always knew that I could be able to take care of their kids and they could trust me with their kids and everything. So I'm very thankful for just getting the opportunity to work with these kids and to be in their lives and to watch them hit all of those milestones and play with them and dance with them and kiss their boo-boos and wipe their butts and snuggle them when they're feeling sad and make them laugh and tickle them and just everything. So I will never forget any of those kids, and they will always have a piece of my heart, and I'm just glad that I got to be their teacher. Hearing that 2x2 was closing down, so I wasn't at work when they had, my coworkers and my boss had a meeting saying that 2x2 was going to be closing down on June 2nd, 2023. And I was told the news on Messenger, and I completely lost it, because this job has been amazing. Like, I know I said before that there were ups and downs, but this job, like, I actually looked forward to coming to work and working with the kids and stuff. And so hearing that it was closing down was one of the saddest news I've ever heard. And I'm obviously not going to go into the reason behind it of why it closed. Like, it wasn't bad or anything. It's just that we couldn't stay open. But, so I was like dreading the last 4 weeks, but I was thankful that I got to stay over the summer, because I was fighting between whether or not I was going to stay over the summer and work over the summer. And so I'm very thankful that I did and that I stayed until the end. And then the last day, June 2nd, 2023, was literally the hardest days of my life. And I think it was for all of my coworkers as well as the parents. The kids really didn't understand. And of course they're not going to understand because we have infant all the way up to pre-K kids. The pre-K kids kind of understood, but the last few days we had like parties and stuff with the kids, and just really spent time with them. And then the last day, we were just kind of hanging out with the kids and just, like I said, spending as much time as we could. And I was doing fine until I started packing up my kids' stuff. And then I just completely lost it. Just like packing up everything that they had in that room, and just like taking things off the walls, like taking their name, things that I made them off the walls. And it was one of the hardest things that I've ever had to do. And then as the doorbell rang, everyone was like, no, we can't let them go. And we would like run and take a kid and hide and stuff. And I didn't lose it until one of my kids left. And then I just bawled. And then it just got worse as time went on. And then I was seeing every other teacher start crying. And so that made me cry even more. And I just hugged one of the parents and just cried. And one of the little boys was saying bye to me, and he came up and squeezed my arm, like my squeezed like really tight. And he was like, he said bye, and then he blew me a kiss, and I just cried after that. And eventually, one by one, each kid was gone, and I went into the one's room, and I sat in the chair, and I just looked at how empty the walls were and how empty the room was, and I just started bawling my eyes out even more. And just the thought of like never seeing some of these kids again. Like, in reality, I'm probably never going to see any of these kids again. Like, I'm probably going to see them through Facebook and stuff, but a lot of them are going to different daycares, and I don't have a car right now, so it's not easy for me to babysit, or it's not easy for me to, like, go find a job at their daycare or something. So I may not ever get the chance to see these kids again besides on, like, Facebook and stuff. And so I think that was, like, the hardest thing. And then realizing that these kids are going to go to a new daycare on Monday and think that they're going to see their friends and that they're going to see their teachers, their normal teachers. But then they're going to realize that this is a new place. And that's, like, that breaks my heart, to notice that they're probably going to be a little confused and, like, wonder where their teachers are and their friends are. And also, it's really going to be hard on Monday to not set an alarm and to not, like, hear Lindy's truck pull up at 8:15 in the morning to come and get me, and to not clock in to Bright Wheel. And once Bright Wheel shuts down, it's really going to get real. And I'm not ready for that. I have cried so much in the past few days that I really can't cry anymore. So that's why I'm surprised that I haven't cried in this video. But yeah, so my ending thoughts is that I'm so thankful for 2x2 and the opportunities it has given me for the past year and 8 months. And I just couldn't be more grateful and blessed that I got to be those kids' teacher. Miss Kalia loves all of you guys and is just so thankful that I got to be one of your providers and teachers, and just know that I will never forget you guys, and you guys will always have a special place in my heart. So, bye! And here are 3 quick photos of my time here at 2x2. I have plenty more.